Hey there, everyone. I am back today with a kind of another collection video, but this one is a bit of a stranger one. This is going to be my collection of Simple Series games. For those of you who don't know, Simple Series is kind of like a budget line made in Japan for basically budget games, and there are a ton of them. I mean, I don't have even remotely close to all of them. There's hundreds. But they're sometimes like they're budget games, and sometimes they get popular enough to demand their own series, and sometimes they're just kind of weird anomalies that are fun, and sometimes they're just garbage. So you've got a range. It's a budget release, and usually they're like simple and a number. Simple 2000 is another is like a main one, but simple 2000 means that the game costs 2,000 yen at start, which is about $20. So it's, budget games. These would be probably like download games today, or like cheap indie games. I mean, but they're made by real companies. They're just, you know, around. But I've got a bunch of these starting on the PS1. So we're gonna go through the ones that I have. I have almost all the Simple Series games that I'm interested in. Almost all of them. There's still like two or three that I haven't found yet, where I'm looking for them. I just haven't found them anywhere. But here are the ones that I have. So starting with the PS1, we've got um, we've got Kamen Rider: The Bike Race, and I played through this game in its entirety. So there's I want to say 13 riders in this game. It's just a simple kind of motorcycle racing game, and it's a little bit like Road Rash, but like Road Rash if you're on a track and there's only one other racer. Um, but you can punch people and stuff, and there's like kind of power ups you can use. It's really cheap. Obviously, this is a simple 2000 game, so it's was originally 2,000 yen when it came out. So it was a cheap game, and it's a cheap game. I mean, it's cheap, but it's got Kamen Riders in it, and it's relatively fun. I mean, I played through it. I played through it with every character, so I got the I think I paid like $1.80 or something for it, like less than $2 for it. So, um, it was worth less than $2. It was worth it. Next we've got some weirdo stuff here. We've got two RPGs and two sports games, but first we've got the Tozan RPG. This is a mountain climbing RPG. This is a simple 1500 series, so it was only about $15 when it came out, but it's kind of a short mountain climbing RPG where you're trying to climb to the top of a mountain. But like the things you fight and the enemies in this game, it looks like Final Fantasy. The menus are like those blue kind of Final Fantasy menus, like the 2D Final Fantasies. It is sort of 2D-ish. It's actually 3D, but like, 2D-ish. Um, the enemies you'll fight will be like mountain peaks and helicopters and shit. It's not it's kind of dumb actually, but like there's monsters and like rocks and things you fight. It's not exactly the it's kind of like a weird idea overall though. I just saw like mountain climbing RPG. That sounds pretty weird. I should pick that up. And I haven't beat this. I haven't put a lot of time into it, but it's interesting at least. I thought like it's an interesting concept, even though like the execution is obviously budget. But it's mountain climbing RPG. Find something else that's a mountain climbing RPG. You can't. Next we've got the Dungeon RPG, and the Dungeon RPG is a roguelike. It's a console roguelike, so rare. Um, it's not rare in terms of like value or anything. It's rare in terms of like there's not many console RPGs, especially on the PS1. There's not that many. But yeah, it's a roguelike dungeon crawler, kind of random maps. When you move, the enemies move like a mystery dungeon game, but budget. And I mean, all kind of roguelikes are kind of budget at this point. I mean, let's be honest, they're not. It's not exactly like the toughest type of game to make. Um, and this one it's a roguelike. It works, so it's good. Next we've got um, the dodgeball, and the dodgeball is basically a dodgeball game. Like you're kind of Super Dodgeball on the NES, just on the PS1. It's got crazy special moves. It's got a team of dudes throwing a ball. It's dodgeball. I have a lot of dodgeball games. I have a lot of dodgeball games in the Simple series because most of them come out as Simple series games because no one's gonna pay full price for a dodgeball game at this point. Like it's not the Famicom days anymore. But people will pay budget price for a dodgeball game, and they're all fun. I like it, there's like almost no dodgeball game that I dislike. So the dodgeball, it's good stuff. I think this has a release in the U.S. too, but I don't remember what the name is. It's dodgeball something something. But you can look it up. Let's see. This one is another dodgeball, but it's got a different name. It's got a kanji name, and this is in the Sakigake series of games. I did talked about Sakigake before. There's like a PS3 game that's kind of a fighter. That's like Man School or something. It's like they're ridiculously manly. It's based on a manga, I think, but like this is like a dodgeball game with these ridiculously manly fighters on the teams. So like it's the same kind of formula as your Super Dodgeball, but it's got ridiculous characters and crazy special moves and stuff. It's goofy and it's probably more fun than the other dodgeball game just because it's so goofy, but like the general idea of it is the same. So it's not like anything really changes between the games, except the characters. So that's all my PS1 Simple Series games. I haven't been collecting a lot of the PS1, but the PS2 is my main focus for Simple Series because there's a lot of ridiculous ones. But if anybody knows any more Simple Series games on the PS1 you think I'd like, let me know. But we'll continue on. We've got PS2 here. PS2 I have a lot. So, but there's some things that I think everyone will recognize, and there's a lot of things in here that people that have come out in Europe got a lot of these for some reason when the US didn't. But first we've got the Chikyu Boe-gun. This is more commonly known as Earth Defense Force. So this is their first Earth Defense Force game on the PS2. I'm pretty sure this came out in Europe, but not in the US. But, shooting giant ants and Godzillas and stuff like that. And of course I've played through this entirely. It's not that, it doesn't take that long. It's like 25 stages or something. It's not exactly the longest game in the world. But this is one of the Simple Series games. It's like originally a budget game. Like it originally came out for like full price 2,000 yen, which is less than $20. So when you're looking at things like that, the games that come out now are very similar. I mean, this feels like an EDF game, but it's a budget game, and it's like budget game that did well enough for itself and got popular enough for itself that it turned into its own actual series that wasn't a budget series. So I must have forgot some games here because I'm like, I know I have more EDF games, but I don't have them here. They must still be on the shelf over there. Yeah, they are. Okay, so I also have EDF 2, which is also a Simple Series game, and EDF Tactics, which is Chikyu Boe-gun Tactics and Chikyu Boe-gun 2. So I've got those on the shelf. I just forgot to pull them. But, here's the first one, and there's others. But I've done a review on my channel of Tactics, and 2 came out on the Vita. I'm not sure if it came out in the US, but there's a remake of 2 that came out. And from 3, it becomes not a Simple Series game. It just became its own thing. So, yeah, continuing on. Let's see. We've got... Okay, this is the Tokusatsu Henshin Hero, which is kind of a, like a Ultraman kind of Kamen Rider. This guy looks, they look like Power Rangers or something, but you kind of have your own fighting teams who fight in kind of arena battles versus various monsters and enemies. It's cheap. I think this has a release in Europe as like the Power Fighters or something. It's something generic name like that, but it exists outside in English outside of Japan, but only in PAL territories, I think. Next we've got the splatter action. And the splatter action is cool, kind of like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but it's a lot like the kind of spiritual successor to Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti. It's kind of like a goofy Splatterhouse game. You can actually get the terror mask in this game, and I've played through this on my Twitch channel recently, and I got the bad ending because apparently you have to play through it more than once to get the good ending, and I obviously wasn't going to do that on stream, so we played through it once. We got to the end, beat the boss, and ended. So the splatter action, there it is. Next we've got the cat fight, and the cat fight is a girls fighting game. Obviously, you can imagine 3D's girls fighting game. I didn't actually. This one was given to me. I didn't buy this one. A friend of mine like moved out of Japan and just had it at their house, and like, you should take this. So I took it. But it's kind of a bad 3D fighter with girls in bikinis. If that's your thing, get on it. Next, we've got the Daibijin. This game is kind of an interesting concept to me. Like, I bought it because I thought, like, well, that's fucking kind of quirky. So basically, this woman grows to a giant size by accident, and you're not playing as her. You're playing as like people trying to capture her. Well, in some parts, I guess. But you're like, I have a problem with this game in that like it uses helicopters at some point, and I like can't control helicopters in games. So like once I get to the helicopter stage, I think it's the third stage where I'm just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't beat this stage. So like, there. I mean, I haven't gone very far in this game because I can't get past the helicopter stage. So if but what I played was all right. It's not like super good or anything, but it's kind of like if you're one of those people that have a giantess fetish, this is a game for you. Otherwise, like I guess like if you don't, it's probably fun. It's fun if you can control helicopters in games. I'm sure like most of you can, but I lack that ability. So no more no more of that for me. This one I've put up videos on my secondary channel that I never use. This is the Zombie versus QQ, which is Zombies versus Ambulance. And this game is a ton of fun. This game has a European release also. I don't remember what the name is, though. But the Zombie versus Ambulance, this game I put like 30 hours into, I'd say. Like, I put a ton of time into this game. It's surprisingly fun. You get to drive around and hit zombies with your ambulance. There's bosses. You can upgrade the ambulance. You can, depending on who you save, like when you save people, you can get people who are like mechanics and things that will upgrade your ambulance with, you'll get people who can upgrade with like razors and shit on the side of the ambulance, or you can get like armor. It's like an A-team ambulance. It's pretty cool. And, like, it's fun to drive around town with the like beefed up ambulance and get like huge killing combos like zombies and stuff. It's a really good game. It's surprisingly good for considering how cheap it is. I mean, obviously it's not a high quality game, but like when you play it, you're bound to have fun. So that's all that really matters. Next we got more PS2 games, a huge stack here. So let's see, let's go through these. Okay, so now we've got another The Dodgeball. This is World Champion Dodgeballer. It's, another dodgeball game, but this one has people from various countries. If you if you look on the back of the box here, you can see there are like ridiculous stereotypes. So the guy from Norway is like a Viking, that kind of thing. So yeah, wait, what is this guy? Okay, yeah. There's like an Egyptian guy. He's not. Oh, okay, yeah, he is. I was gonna say he's not on the box, but there's like this ridiculous Egyptian guy who looks like he's like a pharaoh or something. But he's kind of grayed out on the box. He's a secret character. But yeah, there's a bunch of. Oh wait, there he is. He's right on the cover. What am I talking about? Okay, so the dodgeball. Talked about dodgeball games. I have a ton of dodgeball games. Let's see. Okay, so this is the Chikyu Shinyaku-gun, I believe. This is also known as Space Raiders. Space Raiders came out in the U.S. actually only on the GameCube, I think, as maybe it's Space Raiders. I don't know. But this is kind of like a Space Invaders game, except like you're a dude with a gun running up and running around a stage, and aliens are coming down the stage. It's actually pretty fun. It's a simple kind of arcadey style game, but like it's cheap and fun and kind of a, you know, what you'd expect from this kind of simple series, um, you know, kind of experience. When you play EDF, you know it's going to be not like a well put together game or anything. You play it because it's goofy fun, and that's what Space Raiders ends up being, kind of like a goofy fun kind of thing. So what can you do? It's good. Next we've got I'm pretty sure. Wait. Uh, this is the Genshijin, I think, is the name of this. It's got a name it's got a release in the U.S. Something about maybe like something with evolution in the name. I don't remember, but basically you start out as a monkey in this game, and you like gather monkeys, and you evolve to a caveman. Um, it's kind of like this. It's like feels almost like a weird Pikmin game where your characters will not merge, evolve into like a higher level of character. It's a little bit strange. It's pretty cool though. It's obviously not. Again, none of these are well made, so none of the games are going to be super good or anything, but they're all like fun enough to get, and they're all really cheap. So it's the kind of thing where like if you don't mind playing like cheaply made games that are just like a fun experience, like you know, go for it. If you don't need that, you don't need good graphics, and you don't mind like kind of like a game that feels cheap but it's fun, hop on any of these simple series games. Let's see. Okay, so we've got a couple of more here. Recently, I bought this one. This is the Dungeon RPG. This one is Shinobi. It's not though. It's a roguelike with a ninja. So here is another console roguelike. It's got a ninja as the main character. Hence the name is Shinobi. That's what this kanji is. But yep, more roguelike. So more mystery dungeon style kind of. Each person moves at the same time, kind of dungeon crawler. That's how it is. Next, we've got the Kyonshi Panic, and this Kyonshi is like kind of a Chinese vampire. It's if you remember Darkstalkers, there is a Kyonshi in that game. Lele is the character. Shit, I can't. I'm saying it's Lele, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if her name is that in English. Whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. The Kyonshi Panic is kind of an action fighting game where you fight. It's not like a fighting game. It's like an action game where you run around and fight uh, Chinese vampires. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's obviously not going to be not going to be high quality, and it's not. But it's kind of goofy fun, and you got like um, Kyonshi. It's like one of the only games I can think of where like the main thing you're fighting is Chinese vampires. So if you like that kind of thing, you should be on that. Next, we've got the Noroi no game, which is the curse game. This one is kind of an adventure game um, where it's got FMV stuff. There's real actors and actresses in this game. So it's like an FMV game basically on the PS2. If you can look at the you can't really see it, but there's like a bunch of real scenes that are done by real actors. All this stuff in this game is done by real actors. Um, but it's mostly single shot. It's frames, but like there's a little bit of animation. But it is another horror kind of adventure game. Let's see. Let's see. What is this one? Shit. I don't remember how to read this. Maybe it's the Ninrai. This is a kind of like a Yakuza ripoff game. Like, if you look at oh, wait. Oh, he's not on the cover. it's like if you took a PS2 Yakuza game and you made it like a super budget title and kind of goofy, it would be this game. It's not it's not a very good game, but it's you know, you get what it's going for. So you look at it and you think like, oh, okay, that looks interesting, at least interesting enough to play. You can't see the character, but he looks just like Kiryu looks in the Yakuza games. Like he wears a white suit and a red shirt underneath. Like it's totally obvious what they're trying to rip off, but it's there. It's a good game though. It's good enough to play. Let's see. Next we've got the Bishoujo Simulation RPG. This is a strategy RPG with all the characters being cute little girls. I think like this is the kind of thing that Playongo would probably want to get his hands on. It actually, this game, despite it being a budget game, actually looks pretty good. Like it looks a lot better than a lot of these other games where like this game like really looks cheap. The models are like really cheap looking, but this game, like when you look at it, it actually looks all right. It's obviously the girls are 2D, but they're drawn well and like the style is really nice, and the actual like playing on the maps actually look pretty good. So this game, to me, if this game came out now, I feel like it would be a Vita game or something. It's not exactly like a. It doesn't feel as low budget as like it should, I guess, since it's a simple series game. But actually, it's pretty good. So this is the Bishoujo Simulation RPG, Moonlight Tale. Good stuff. Next, we've got the Kaizoku. This is a pirate game, kind of a buccaneer swashbuckling game, but you're fighting like undead skeletons. So it's kind of like a pirate game where you fight cursed pirates. It's it's pretty good. It's not it's not Japan exclusive though. So actually, there is a European release for this. There are European releases for a lot of these, I think, but some of them have U.S. releases, but I don't know which ones because you can't. It's hard to tell. But this one definitely does. I don't remember what the name is though. And the last one for the PS2. This one is a great one. This is the Tairyo Jigoku, and this one you're kind of playing it's kind of an action game, like a horror-ish game, but like you're basically this schoolgirl being attacked by giant bugs, not like EDF giant bugs, but like swarms of like big insects and things. Like it's kind of gross more than anything. Like imagine like cockroaches this big or something, or like worms or something. Like it's just lots of stuff like that. It's just like this crazy amount of like like rad roaches in Fallout. It's that kind of thing. They don't get super huge, but well, I mean not always. But this game is like the kind of thing where it's what you'd expect from a simple series game. Like kind of short skirt schoolgirl running around doing action game things. That's quintessential for simple series games. And there are a lot of simple series games. That's the PS2. Simple series didn't continue much after. That's not true, actually. The simple series continued after the PS2, but I haven't played a ton of those. But I've played a couple, and there's a lot on the DS, but I haven't really looked into them. And a lot of the ones on the DS tend to be ports of the PS2 games. So like there's some ports of games that I've shown on the DS as well. But I have this one DS game that's a Simple Series game. It's Simple Series Volume 43, so there's at least 43 Simple Series games, but there's obviously more than that on the DS. And this is the host to Shiose. This is Let's Be a Host. And basically it's a host simulator, so you're running around town like trying to get girls on the street to come to your club, and then you're trying to romance them so they'll spend a lot of money at the club. That's all it is. It's really simple. Like it's less of a simulation than I thought it was going to be. So like I didn't play it a ton because it wasn't it got boring really fast. But I think I paid like $4 for it, so I don't feel bad. The last one I have is a Wii Simple Series game. This is Volume 4, The Shooting Action. Now, the shooting action, I thought it was going to be a shooter, and I got it as part of a pack that I bought. So, like, I bought a pack of Wii games for like, I bought like 5 Wii games for $10 or something, and it had this and like She-Ra and the Wanderer and Captain Rainbow and stuff in it. But like this one was in there, and I thought like, well, if it's a shooter, that'll be okay, even if it's a shitty one. But actually, this is one of the worst games I've ever played. The shooting action here, it feels like a 1985 like kind of arcade game that was a failure, like not a good one. And it's not a shooter so much as it's like an arena battle with spaceships, but there's only two on the screen at a time, and they're ugly looking and they move slow, and the battle is terrible, and the shooting is bad, and basically this game is terrible. And the only thing that it's excited about is that you have an avatar that you can dress up in this game. Like that's like the back of the box is full of the stuff about you can change clothes of the avatar and stuff, but like the actual game itself, who would play it? I don't know. It's terrible. So this actually sucks. Out of all these simple series games, that one is the worst one, like hands down. I could not find a worse one that I have at least. I'm sure there's worse ones, but yeah. So that's my simple series collection. There are a couple more that I'm interested in, like I said, but I'm not gonna tell you guys because I don't want people sniping them from me. But if you guys have any recommendations for me, let me know, and I will. I'll check into those. If you have, especially if you're looking at some later ones. I mean, they continue. The Simple Series is still around. There's still Simple Series games. Mostly they're digital now, and they're like on the 3DS store. There's a bunch of Simple Series games, like those cheating boyfriend games that I talked about before. They're Simple Series games on the DS, and they're like $5 each. So I didn't feel terrible about buying those. So that's it. That's my Simple Series collection. If you guys have any recommendations for more Simple Series games that you think I might like, or or that you've heard about that seem interesting, let me know. I know that Playongo has a couple of these. He showed off some kind of like uh, romance horror game that I was somewhat interested in, but not interested enough to buy yet. So maybe if I see it somewhere, I'll pick that up. It's not on my list, but like if I see it, I probably won't be able to stop myself. Um, but yeah, that's about it for now. So yeah, I guess I will catch you guys next time. See ya.